Hello everyone. This is the final panel for Retail India Summit and Expo 2023. And it's my pleasure to introduce the panel. We are going to talk about the shop of tomorrow, the exciting outlook of 2024 and beyond. Since morning, we had sessions on strategy, we had session on retail brand expansion, we had a session on real estate and dining spaces. Now we are going to talk about what's in store for tomorrow and the exciting outlook for 2024. I would request each of my panelists to introduce the company and themselves respectively, succinctly, and then we can take this discussion ahead. We start with Raghav.
Thank you so much, Hitesh ji. Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Raghav. I'm representing Bazaar Retail. We are a mass value retailer format. We predominantly sell apparels and a bit of home furnishings, home mart, and FMCG goods as well. So we are spread out pan-India with about 8 states in presence, and we deal about 50 to 60,000 SKUs in this particular store. And over to you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ritesh Rathi, representing Citykart Ventures Private Limited. We are again a value retailer, majorly mass market value retailer spread across 8 states and 103 stores. And we have been in existence since 2016. And we are totally a physical retail player, so no digital element out there. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Ankur Bhatia. I'm the CEO for Chogori India Retail Limited. We run stores for Columbia Sportswear and Adventurous. Basically, our forte is into trekking and hiking. And we have approximately 8 brands in the country. But all the brands are in the premium space, covering hiking, trekking, and mountaineering activities. The company is 10 years old, based out of Noida. And our life mission is to promote trekking activities in the country. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mohit. I represent a company called IKEA. We are an 80-year-old home furnishings company. In India, IKEA has been sourcing for about 4 decades, and we have been retailing for the last 5 years. So we have 5 stores in the country currently, in Bangalore, in Hyderabad, and in Mumbai, and with 2 more coming up in the Delhi NCR region. And we do online as well. And we cater to almost every item you think for the home furnishings category. We have about 9 to 10,000 SKUs, and which goes beyond furniture. Thank you.
I'm Dhiraj from Campus Sutra. We started Campus Sutra from a 400 square feet office in a Bhatia building. So there was this place which was lying vacant for 32 years. बोलते थे कि भूत रहता है तो कोई ले नहीं रहा था. From there, we have built the biggest bootstrap fashion brand in the country. We are one of the few brands to be present in 22 countries across US, Canada, Middle East, Europe. Apart from online, we are also present offline with Shoppers, Central, Brand Factory, so about 500 locations offline. Yeah, so that's our story. We are a brand targeted to college kids, 18 to 25 year age group in the mass premium segment.
Okay. So the first question goes to Ritesh. Ritesh, how are you seeing the customer of today? What has changed in the customer if you look at the year that has gone 2023 and if you compare it with last year, because this is going to set the stage for 2024. So do you think that the customer has changed?
Great question, actually. We all exist for our customers, and customers keep on challenging us, and they keep on creating their choices. I would put it very clearly, and we always are very observant about the customer behaviors and how the customer profile, the choices, and the demographics is changing. One of the things which we have seen is that customers, especially in our segment where we are into value retail, they are fond of shopping from stores. The shopping is more around, I would say, 3: need-based, occasion-based, and festival-based. And it's kind of just in time. So we are solving that problem for them. This year has been very good for us. We have seen double-digit comp growth across stores. The response has been encouraging. We had made some changes in our approach, and I think that's working, and the customers have appreciated our approach. And going forward, we expect the trend to continue. And we hope that the customer keeps blessing us.
Sure. Raghav, what about you? Uh, what about your customer? What change you see in your customer, or your customer remains the same? Has the customer changed in your case also?
So again, I mean, I feel the customer is more quality conscious, right? I mean, given the whole awareness about quality and value, we were value retailers earlier. We used to focus on just the price points, but now I feel the need is focused more towards the quality as well, because the customer wants the best quality, and they have a lot of players or options to choose from, whether be it online or offline. So again, if you provide them the right quality at the good price points, and again, you just-in-time inventory is a big requirement, right? Because you need to solve the customer's need as and when they arise. So not running out of stock, or maybe having good variety with good amount of price points and value addition, and ensuring the quality standards. I think that's one thing that the customer has been eyeing and will continue to keep going forward in.
My next question is to Dhiraj, again on the customer. This is the customer segment that we want to just get the idea about, where our retailers, are feeling that the customer is changing or has changed or will change. So what change you see in your customer, Dhiraj?
I think before we talk about the customer, we need to talk about people, right? So if you look at people in India and you look at a 10, 20-year horizon, right? The behavior of people have fundamentally changed. That's my strong belief, right? Broadly, 2-3 categories, right? One, I think any individual in India is spending a lot of time online, right? So while I'm part of a lot of these debates where people keep talking about online chalega, offline chalega and all of that, right? That's not the point. The point is that anyone who is in India at this point of time, no matter whether he's in a village or in a large city, he's spending a lot of time online. So one broad trend, right? Second, I think people in India generally are more aspirational. So अभी भी याद है कि 10-15 साल पहले भी, if somebody came from a tier 2, tier 3 city, he would lack the confidence to stand up to a person from a metro, right? I'm generalizing. I also come from a village, so I can say it maybe, I can take the liberty of saying it. But now you see people are more aspirational, more confident, making up their own mind. Even in a household, for example, people are not relying on what his or her father, mother are saying, right? They make up their own mind, right? Third, I think overall from a retail perspective, the mind to market has come down, right? 10 साल पहले यदि आपको कुछ I don't know Levi's की एक बहुत ही trendy jeans चाहिए थी तो it had to come from US or Europe. Now that's no longer the case. So I think fundamentally things are changing in India, and with that the customer trend is changing. And like all consultants do, we can get a word to kind of talk about it. So Gen Z is like a word in focus. Everybody wants to talk about Gen Z, and it is like कि कल पैदा हो गए, कल नहीं हुए ना, वो 20 साल से हैं. It's a culmination of what has been happening to customer behavior over a period of time. So as a retailer, it is very important that you know what is happening in their life and then get your proposition which can meet that need.
Thanks, Dhiraj. Ankur, you are in a special kind of a category, okay? And how the customer is changing in your category, because it affects a lot. For the others, there are various options, but in your case, you are focused on one particular category, and your customer also being a brand that you are, also comes at that segment of the society. So what is changing in your case?
So, I mean, it's just the same for us also as for any other brand, because essentially the customer is somebody who's getting pampered by, say, 1,000 brands in the country. And I mean, just imagine that person who has so much of pampering going on, right? When it comes to delivery, he compares us to Amazon, like a one-day delivery, or maybe Blinkit, like 10-minute delivery. When it comes to quality, he's comparing us to, say, an X brand. When it comes to returns, or maybe omni-channel experience, or in-store experience, or website experience, he has benchmarks in his mind. That depends upon how evolved the customer is, but every customer has benchmarks he's comparing us to. And that's the opportunity as well, and that's the challenge as well. In every field, fortunately, unfortunately, we have to excel so that we can cross that benchmark and leave an impression on the customer so that he comes back. As far as Colombia is concerned, the good thing is that there's not much competition as of now, so probably he has to come back to us again. But for how long? Eventually competition will come in. Eventually brands who are catering to the lower segment would evolve and start catering to our segment, or maybe someone else will come from outside. Or maybe we will get somebody to probably pull us out of complacency and create a very level, even playing field for ourselves. But the thing is that the customer is constantly changing, evolving. There is flow of information happening through social media. Gone are the days when information used to take like years or months to flow in from west to east. These days it's hyper competitive, and literally you have to be always on the toes to make sure that you have it all right, or at least you are not disappointing the customer so much that he just doesn't come back to you.
True, true. Mohit, you represent IKEA. Your views on this, because I have got more questions to you. So how the customer has changed in your case?
No, I think, one of the things, which is a fundamental and which remains the same for us as well, that the customer is definitely far more informed in today's world. We talk about price and quality, but maybe I can talk about, from a design and usability of the product as well. Earlier when a customer used to walk into our store, they used to rely on us, on asking that, will this look good, let's say a sofa or a bed or something in my home. Today, the customer has already, seen so many videos on a YouTube or a social media channel or dedicated websites or internet in general, and he's more informed than us as well. Sometimes the customer says that, I want to buy a particular storage unit, which I'll use it in a different way, and which is a new hack, and which probably, no one knows. So the customer is actually far more informed, than we were. I think this is a big difference that, of course, it's a challenge for retailers as well, because you need to be one up. Customer is obviously looking to you as well, although he's informed, but he's saying that, can you tell me more? And sometimes we struggle with that, in spite of all the experience, because the customer is so informed. Another trend is about sustainability. I think sustainability is ingrained in our culture as Indians, whether it is prolonging the use of the product or we buying it second hand or third hand, that has always been there. But now the new trend is, where we want to use more sustainable raw materials and sustainable products. That is where the customer is evolving towards. I don't think so, it is a nationwide phenomena as of now. We are far from that. Sustainability still remains a buzzword, and maybe more with urban population and maybe more with the educated class. But as you move forward, the customer is going to demand for more sustainable products. There is a premium for it, but I think this is a chicken and egg problem. The more demand, the cost will come down. This is similar to, what, let's say the electric vehicles were as well.
Yes.
The price differential was maybe 100% earlier. Now it is coming down. And as the government keeps saying, soon it will be at a par. So I think this is true for many of other products as well. And maybe, one final thing which is slightly different in terms of customer trend is what we are noticing. When we were kids, our parents were the decision makers. And now, when we are parents, the kids are decision makers.
Absolutely.
So we have been bypassed. So this is a new trend, which we see almost every day. And I think this is a new trend. So we need to, focus a lot on that as well. I can talk about more, but maybe,
Yes, we will. We'll cover this sustainability piece in some time. Sunaina, come Sunaina, please. We have got Sunaina with us. No. I'll stand here. Not an issue. Done. Yeah. Take this, please.
No, please, sir. I don't want to disrupt so much.
Yeah. So we'll come to that sustainability piece very soon, Mohit, because that's something which is core to us also. But my question to Ritesh first and then Raghav is, what is the exciting thing that you feel is coming or being of 2024 that really excites you and it's not a fad? So I want something that you are convinced about, that this is a fact, a trend, or something that's going to be a very, very exciting thing for 2024, which you 100% believe, okay, this is going to take place.
So there are so many things which are changing, and the customers are always evolving. But one thing what we are seeing clearly is that customers are getting a lot of choices and they are spoiled for choices. And one of the things what we have observed is that the inhibition of customers, even in the rural towns, the small towns, or the tier 3 towns of real Bharat, is not there. Now they are very clear about that, okay, where do I want to shop? What do I want to shop? Which categories I want to buy online? But at the same time, they are very clear about the value proposition they are seeking. So what we are really excited about is that the bottom of the pyramid in the country is getting up.
Very good.
Right? There are so many schemes out there which the government is running. The direct benefit transfer has been a game changer. The entire organization, the retail moving to an organized segment with transparent pricing and all. So that is something which we see, and we feel very confident that the customer base will increase over a period of time. Customers will be more demanding, and that is a positive aspect for us. And we really look at it with a lot of optimism that yes, it's a challenge for us to fulfill and be very, very, I will say, in the favorite list of the customers, but we have to live to their expectations every day.
Thanks. Raghav, what is your view on this, the exciting outlook?
So, I mean, definitely agree, right? So earlier post-COVID, we felt that there was a revenge spending, but, this continued. The growth continued and the customer growth has, been proliferating. The footfalls have been increasing. The same store sales growth have been there. So again, totally agree that the customer is inclined to spend more and the disposable income spend has increased. So we're very excited because overall the macros are turning out to be good. And the value retail or the hinterland, the masses have the more spending capacity has increased. Plus the awareness about, things like apparels, fashion, good quality, that has increased. So with increasing awareness and increasing disposable income in hand, totally agree that, the spending power is going to be high and there will be growth. More than that, the aspiration towards better customer experience, that is also something that excites us a lot because being in a format where there's so much intense competition, the only way you can differentiate yourself is through product and customer experience. So again, the customer is more, the hunger for the customer experience is increased. And that's one way where we're very, very excited and we, look forward to trying new things.
Dhiraj, what is that exciting opportunity for you?
So I'll not talk about 1 year. I'll talk about a 5-6 year horizon, right? So an important or interesting statistics that I would want to share. At any point of time in the history of the world, whenever a country has gone up from 2,500 per capita to 5,000, all the discretionary purchase, which is what we guys are in, has gone up 4 times. So I'll just repeat, right? Ki last 50-100 years में कभी भी कोई भी country history के कभी भी किसी भी time पे whenever it has gone up from 2,500 per capita to 5,000, all the discretionary purchases have gone up 4 times, right? So India may, unless until some war happens with China, in the next 5, 6, 7 years, definitely will be at 5,000 per capita, right? So anyone who is in any discretionary purchase, fashion, trekking, sports, you name it, all those revenues will go up 4 times, right? So it's an opportunity of a lifetime. I don't think any time in India we have had this opportunity in the last 200, 300 years or even in the last 10 years, right? So I keep telling this to my team that, every day morning, first thing we should do is get up and thank God that we are in India at this point of time. Because the opportunity that is there in India now will never be in the future. 10 साल के बाद भी नहीं होगा, 10 साल पहले भी नहीं था. So anyone who is doing anything right, as long as you do it right, your business will go up 4 times. Right? So that's the way I see it.
Okay. Ankur, what is the opportunity? What is the exciting opportunity?
Well, I'll just build on that point itself. Of course, the opportunity, I would not say India's time has come, but yeah, we are moving towards that. And I think we are in a state of flux right now where all the difficult decisions which probably would have been taken a couple of years back are being taken now, both at a government level and state government levels, and a lot of things are happening. But the best part is that even if the market right now is small, everybody globally believes that India will become a business which will be much bigger than what it is right now. So we are getting all the attention, for sure. It's just that this attention needs to be converted into real numbers for which all the right decisions have to be taken now. And of course, after 4 or 5 years, we would see the fruits of this happening when India would become probably the third largest economy and then the second largest and eventually the first, the biggest economy in the world. But yeah, of course, there are opportunities for everybody because the consumer market itself is so huge. And yes, when the GDP will grow from $2 trillion to $5 trillion, the revenues of these brands will go up for sure. So there are opportunities. It's just that the right decisions need to be taken today.
So
and difficult decisions, hard decisions need to be taken today so that, I
Agreed.
mean, think of it. We still don't have enough taxpayers in the country. There would still be cash piles of like 2,000 rupee notes or 500 rupee notes stuck somewhere. All of that needs to be cleaned up. Even at a business level, I would say there are inefficiencies within each company which need to be cleaned up for realizing that dream of $5 trillion or those individual dreams for every company. We also want our turnover to double over the next 3 years, right? But a lot of difficult decisions are being taken today at a country level and at a business level.
So what is the exciting opportunity you are seeing for your company or your category for 2024?
I think post-COVID, a lot of people have started focusing on sports, athleisure, and fitness as a non-negotiable for their own personal goals, and we feel that that will lead to eventually more activities which we are catering to. So that's the most exciting opportunity for us, and since we have like a good mix of brands to cater to that opportunity, I think we are in an advantageous position from a competitive landscape perspective.
Dhiraj, IKEA has 5 stores, as you mentioned. Sorry, Mohit. So sorry, apologies. IKEA has 5 stores, right? Now, where do you see, I'm particularly talking about 2024, what is the big opportunity that you see or certain trends that you see?
I think, post-COVID, home has become even more important for us. So home is where the heart is. Home is no longer just the home. It is also your office. It is also your playground. It is everything. So I think that itself is a huge opportunity for us. And in terms of specific markets, as I said, that we have 5 stores, but Delhi is a big missing piece for us. Having a pan-India presence, bigger presence is definitely a big opportunity for us. And another big thing, which we see is also related to the whole digital revolution, which is coming up in the country. And it has also to do a lot of with the demographics of the country. The youth are becoming even more important. So whether it is about experiential reality, I think this is going to be the next big opportunity. It may not be for the next 1 year, but it will remain like that, for the next few years. And youngsters are definitely, looking to have that experiential experience, in terms of the virtual reality and other stuff, where they don't really want to travel too much, and they want to see, what is in my reach. Can I get this experience sitting here? Whether it is through the use of just internet or maybe more than that. I mean, just to give you a specific example in our category, when a customer walks in, a typical question is that, how would this particular piece of sofa or a table or a home furnishing would look in my room, in my home? And this is a difficult question because, this is a bulky thing. If I carry a sofa and my wife says, the color is not matching, then what do I do? I've already had a truck to have that. So can we give that experience that how will that look, in your own home without actually carrying it? And of course it is happening now, but I think, this is a trend which is going to pick many folds because the experience and the technology is still not there. Maybe you can do it to some extent, but maybe, with all these new gadgets and all, you can really increase it. So that's going to be, one big thing. Other thing is, of course, about convenience. And convenience, could, if I may specifically talk about faster checkouts. And faster checkouts could be, both offline and online. Today people want a frictionless, timeless, or rather no checkouts at all. I remember seeing that store at the Amazon store in Seattle many years back, and which is, you just pick the product and
Amazon
walk out.
Go. Yes.
Amazon Go. I saw the beta version, and it makes you feel like you're stealing something. You're into the store and you just walk out. This is, I think, the new trend. We may move towards that, and this is what the customer of today wants. Maybe another trend, which may pick up is going asset light, subscription-based model and renting of the things. We have already seen this in the automobile sector with all the cabs, but this is the new thing, which may pick in many other sectors.
Sure. So we have with us Sunaina Harjai, founder and director of Heads of Accessories. Sunaina, can you introduce the company yourself? And then we'll come to the, what is the outlook that you are looking for from your category perspective?
Yeah. Firstly, apologies for being late. Hats Off Accessories, it's a direct-to-consumer, affordable, handcrafted footwear brand, which we started in 2015. So it's been quite a long journey, and the whole brand experience is about creating handcrafted shoes, and my vision was making it affordable and accessible for every Indian man and woman in India. So this is a bit of our story where we try to uplift the Indian shoemaking and the craftsmanship and glorify our leathers and the whole crafts behind making a shoe and making those dress shoes available to everybody and an average Indian consumer. So this is a bit about our brand.
Sure. And since we are talking about the outlook for 2024, maybe some light on your operations or what you think 2024 is about, as far as Heads of Accessories is concerned, also about the category.
So while everybody was talking, I was just brainstorming a few thoughts, and I came to a realization when I got into e-commerce, that was 2015. So relatively, e-commerce in India is still relatively new. We don't talk about this much often, but ASOS and all the other big e-commerce companies came a lot before us. And when I got in the business, the Jabongs and Coos were just getting in. So I leveraged a lot through them and capitalized a growing consumer market, which was very much driven by production, manufacturing capabilities, and price points. So we also tested this brand called Noble Curve, which was an affordable shoe brand where we collaborated with Agio that time. And we wanted to make a leather shoe accessible to every working class man. And over the years, and you're talking about 2024, so I have to think back in the history to think forward, which is that my journey was very much driven by value and pricing. But the future is not dictating on just price points. It's about personalization. It's about creating a user experience. It's about creating a journey, and it's about branding, and it's about storytelling. So I feel the opportunity, just not for shoe brand or any brand that's coming into consumer space, be it lifestyle, be it home, be it apparel, it's not going to be just capitalized on those margins and deep discounting. Although e-commerce has opened gateway for manufacturers to just flood in their products and everybody can just produce, put a label, it costs you around, I think, 3,000 to get a trademark and another 15,000 to get your e-commerce website made. But brands are not built like that. Brands take years to make, and I feel a lot of my colleagues here on stage would know and vouch that it takes a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to actually create a company and a label that actually creates sustaining revenues year on year. So my opportunity highlights are, it's about personalization, it's about customization, it's about aspirational lifestyle that you have to create for the customers. And another point that I just want to add, taking too much of everybody's time, is just that when I talk about my brand to a lot of investors and people from the industry, they try to bifurcate me in putting my consumers into hierarchy. They say, okay, this one is earning this much, so he should just wear a basic tan shoe. If he's earning 5 lakhs a month, he should wear a designer shoe. I feel that's not correct. You can't bifurcate somebody's aspiration on the basis of their income, because everybody in India has an aspirational lifestyle now. Everybody has an access to credit card. I know I'm not talking about the larger economy, but most who are shopping online have access to a card, have access to a certain lifestyle that they're aspiring for. So if you're not making a product that's aspirational and fits in that lifestyle, it will not belong in their cart. So that's what I have to say. Thank you.
So if I have to sum this up, what is exciting our panelist here today from a business outlook 2024, certain points that have come, and most of these are, human related. But there is to start with, the bottom of the pyramid, that the government schemes, etc., that has helped the bottom of the pyramid go to the next level, and that's the huge opportunity. We saw about the ability to spend and the intention to spend. So both of them are rising in India's consumer, that he will be initially he did not have the ability, but today he has the ability, is what the first point spoke about. But what Sunaina said, a 5 lakh salary guy did not get a designer's shoe. Anybody can get if he can afford it, because he's aspirational. So हर चीज पैसे से तोली नहीं जाती है, कुछ अरमान भी होते हैं. Okay, and those things are a part of it, and that's where India is growing. Opportunity for the consumers. You know, consumers are getting a lot of choices, is what we can we can derive from this discussion. That now initially they did not have, but today they have got those choices, which again is an opportunity for all these people. Today I have a choice, if from A I have to, if even if I can't afford, but I'll stretch myself and go to a level B and try to get that done because I'm aspirational about it. Sports, fitness, healthcare has gone up. So any and every segment related to that category is going to, grow. Home is now the office, is the playground, what our friend from IKEA spoke about. So that again is, we never treated our homes the way we have treated them post-COVID. Then we have got the demographics which are changing. We have experiential and convenience. All of us want to experience once. And if 140 crore people even experience once, we can become a 5 trillion economy in an extremely short span. Personalization and brands and branding is also what our panelists spoke about. Now, these are the opportunities. So what my next question is, how do we ensure that we encash this opportunity? In other words, what is the one challenge that all of you feel is the biggest challenge for you, and how should industry or you can overcome that challenge? So for example, if capital is a challenge to me, how will I overcome that challenge? So that is one challenge which I feel I should say from my side. But if I start with again Ritesh and then Raghav, and we'll continue. So what is that one challenge which is an impediment to achieve this exciting outlook opportunity?
So one quote which I read some time back was that challenges are opportunities in both clothes, right? And challenges are there and they will be there. And while we are growing, there will be a lot of challenges which one will face, and we should consider them as opportunities. And while many challenges are coming to my mind, but one of the key things which comes to my mind is that how can we capture the unarticulated need of the consumer and then address that requirement. So while there is articulated need for the consumer, you are able to understand this is the gap, this is what it is. But there are a lot of consumers who come to the store and they just go away, and we are not able to understand that what exactly we were missing.
Absolutely.
So if we are able to find that out and find a mechanism around that will really help us in growing.
Excellent point. Raghav.
So I'll talk of a problem, maybe something that we've been facing, right? So demand, again, we can only forecast, but sometimes it's too much, and then you end up, maybe having stock outages at a particular store for a particular MC or a department. So, we've been focusing a lot on analytics and predictive demand forecasting and supply chain. We've been, introducing new supply chain solutions and new supply chain methods. Maybe replenishment at the stores, we've been sort of increasing, and we've been finding newer, better ways to, optimize the inventory at the store, as well as, cater to the customer needs by looking at their buying patterns. So just more focus on data analytics and understanding the customer's needs, and, giving the right inventory at the right place, again, given at the right time, right?
Sure. Dhiraj.
So I think running a startup is like doing tapasya, right? यदि जिस दिन चैलेंज नहीं आएगा उस दिन तो रात को नींद ही नहीं आएगी, मतलब इट्स लाइक दैट एवरी डे यू आर फेसिंग समथिंग न्यू. But broadly speaking, I don't think it is a challenge, but it is a reality. I think what's happening is that the business environment is becoming more and more dynamic. I think go back 10-15 years, I come from a business background. My father, grandfather, everybody were into business. यदि कोई एक business set हो गया तो बोलते थे 3 पीढ़ी खाएगी, it will work for 20-25 years. But I think that is no longer true. So if you are running anything which is very, very successful now, there is no guarantee that it will be running successfully next year or 3 years later. The business environment is very, very dynamic. So anyone who gets caught up in their mind that, ये चल रहा है इसको change नहीं करते, या फिर you don't change according to the business environment or the market environment, I think that's the end of the business. So I think, and that I look at it as an opportunity. That gives opportunity to new people to disrupt the market, make it big. You have new players coming in. There is more, more, you can say chaos, but also more opportunity. So that's what I would like to highlight rather than talking about a challenge.
Ankur.
Well, I feel that human capital is the most important factor. It can be a challenge also and an opportunity as well. Because as humans, we have this tremendous ability to rationalize anything. So we can rationalize even our poor performance and just give up on the growth opportunity. Or we can constantly evolve and make sure that while we congratulate ourselves for the great work done, both as a country and as a company, but there's a long way to go. And I mean, even if we have to set a goal of 2047 for the country or maybe for our company over the next 5 years, we have to stay focused towards that goal and not get complacent or rationalize any of our failures as ये तो होना ही था. वो हमारा थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है कई बारी if we start saying चलो कोई ना या चलता है ये तो हमारे कंट्री में ऐसे ही होता है. But so that's the biggest thing, because no amount of technology can disrupt you, no amount of anything, competition, etc. can disrupt you. Only people take you from point A to point B. And if you have the right team, and if the team is motivated and equipped and geared enough for the future, they will take you to any of your dreams. So that's the biggest. Human capital is like the buzzword, irrespective of whatever is happening on the technology front.
Good. Mohit, what about you? And then we come to Sunaina.
I agree with the, a lot of these points, which have been mentioned. I think, we also face that. But if I may have to, come up with one or two more, I think geopolitics is one big challenge, which we see. And it's particularly true for a global company, it changes a lot many things. It looks like one word, but behind that, there are a number of things which will change it, whether it is, your supply chain, your entire integration with suppliers, financiers, retailers across the world. I think that is, one big challenge which we face. Second is dynamic technology. We spoke about it, but it is changing so rapidly. I think this is, one way, whether it is due to technology, whether it is the changing behavior of the customer, or the way you do business, whether it is the front end or the back end. I think that these are two, big challenges for us. But as we have discussed, these are opportunities as well.
Good. Sunaina.
Yeah. So I think for me, I've spent about 9 years in e-commerce, and opportunity to grow and furthermore would be making more omni-channel now. I feel experience centers are very important for e-commerce brands. There's only so much you can do through online reels and ads and content and talking to a camera. End of the day, a customer who wants a product, and especially if it's a high-end, high-quality product where he's spending a certain salary of his, a large share of that, they want to touch, feel and see it. So I feel like as a brand, as an individual, I'm going to vouch and collaborate with other like-minded brands who can probably collaborate and give an experience to consumers and customers. Yeah.
So we have got 6 panelists, and I think all 6 of them have articulated very nicely all the different areas. We started with consumer. So consumer is a challenge, that capturing unarticulated needs of consumer. So their consumer becomes a challenge. From a company perspective, demand forecasting, supply chain, it's a process-driven challenge. Then we have got environment is changing, so the environment is dynamic, and that's a challenge. Other colleague of ours told human capital is a challenge. One more person told the changing technology is a challenge. And the last we heard about that experience and collaboration is something a challenge. And all these are opportunities as well. So I think we have got 7 of our panelists, and all of them have articulated beautifully what the challenges are. With this, I'm just going to ask the final question, because we are hardly 5 odd minutes left for the panel to get over. That the shop of tomorrow, the exciting outlook for 2024 and beyond. What is your advice to the retailer in your category? And if we can stick to our category only, for example, if I ask Sunaina in her heads of accessories, that category, what is her advice to a startup, to a D2C brand, digital first brand, which she wants to give to be successful in 2024 only? Sunaina, we'll start with you.
Yeah. So I think in my past journey with my brand, Ads of Accessories, we are very much about creating designs which are unique from our competitors.
Yeah.
But the market is flooded because now everybody has an access to an online portal, like I said. So it would definitely study the consumer in such a way that we could go in more niche and customize products to their needs. So rather than stocking up and piling up inventory, which is ultimately going to be deep discounted and then it's just a stock rotation, I would say, it's better that we avoid the fast fashion and we avoid the stock pile up and we study the market and we do customization for the consumers. So this way, I know we can't achieve economies of scale, and a lot of large companies that probably run their profits on the huge volumes that they sell, it might challenge that. But it's very simple logic. Instead of selling 10 units, you're selling 5 units, and they're much higher quality.
Yeah.
So, and of course, we are not disrupting the mass market brands. They're already very much prevalent and they're not going to change their strategies, hearing me. This is just for the startups who are there and they could have a unique selling proposition by getting into customization. In fact, I was in Bangalore in one of the stores that I entered. They had a 3D scanning machine where they would make a mold as per your foot design. So I feel these new technologies is something that could disrupt the status quo of the old, if I may say, names like Bata and all the other brands. If the new startups can get into this, and I must say it's very important for the new startups to have a collaborative mindset. In my journey, I see a lot of tough competition and there's a lot of cutthroat competition, but I feel it'll be very nice if organizations like yours and like these talks, we could also have a collaborative mindset where we can actually, as an industry, sit together and exchange ideas. And as a whole industry, we benefit from each other rather than fighting for the market share. I feel the market is pretty big for all of us to make good money.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Sunaina, point taken. Yes, Raghav.
So totally agree, right? I mean, any new startup, you need to have a customer positioning. You need to position yourself and have a particular USP. I would say, maybe stick to the traditional, model of working, right? I mean, earlier the Lala mentality was to maybe earn a profit. Today's startups maybe have been burning a lot, not focusing on the bottom line, but just all about the top line, right? Inflating the top line. I would say maybe, ensure that your unit economics is good. That is very important. Maybe you're not burning a lot. Your unit economics, your model should be feasible and should be turning you a profit at the end of the day. And once that is good, once the mantra is good, once you've found the right mode, expand on it, right? And then that's a cakewalk for us to do.
Sure. Ritesh. And this is not about startups only. You all can, it's about your businesses. Yes. And the categories.
Yeah. So one thing which I'll always say is that there's a lot of information which is flowing around and that can lead to a lot of confusion, a lot of data coming into and making sense out of it. So while there will be a lot of ideas which will be generating and all, you have to be clear and one has to be very clear about the vision and the mission of the company and the organization. What is the customer value proposition? And just be adamant on them and keep working on refining it and working on it. At the same time, what we need to also do, and any organization needs to do, is that keep simplifying. Keep simplifying the processes, be consistent, and keep it simple for the customer, make it simpler for the customer, and handle all the complexities at the back end.
Thank you. Ankur.
We would love to see some competition at least in this space, in the outdoor space, because right now, I think for the last few decades, people were focusing on sportswear as a category to look into. But if there are retailers, maybe sitting here or that side, who want to get into the outdoors, that will be most welcome from an industry perspective. One is that it will expand the business for everybody, because right now we are just scratching the surface probably. Just think of it this way, putting rough numbers, sportswear as a category would be a few thousand crores. In evolved markets, outdoor within the sports category is around 20%. So there is a lot of untapped market which is there. And of course, we would not be able to take the entire market. And there are brands like Decathlon at an entry level. But then that still leaves a lot of open space for a lot of new brands and retailers to come into, whether as private labels or as brands per se. So there is a lot of white space which needs to. So I invite people to come into the outdoor space with their own brands. And one is that it will help us get better because whenever there is competition, everybody tries to evolve. Second is it will expand the market itself. So yes, outdoor space, a big white space.
Nice. Mohit.
So, well, I would advise, listen to your customer, the customer teaches you a lot.
Okay.
I think that's his one mantra, they can actually tell you, what you do, you have to decipher. And of course, as you were saying that, sometimes it is they're not articulate, but you have to decipher that, what's going into customer's mind. Secondly, be flexible, and again, sometimes we are stuck on our own ideas. So you have to be flexible, as per the customer needs. Thirdly, I would say, of course, 2024 is super important, but don't be just stuck on 2024. This is important, but think midterm, think long term as well. If you have a long term vision, then this is just a passing phase.
Sure. Dhiraj.
So I think one thing that I see is, the definition of brand for the customer has been. If you look 10-15 years back, Levi's यदि brand था तो लोग सब वो Levi's खरीदते थे चाहे कैसा भी product हो. Now I think the key to success is whether you're getting your product right year on year, right? So if I have to use भगवान का word, they say no कि काम करो फल की इच्छा मत करो. So if I have to give a mantra or whatever, I would say that work on processes in your company which help you understand the need of the customer and deliver on it year on year. I think getting that process right, I think that is the key. And that's the only way to survive because brand for me is the company which the person knows कि यार इसका यदि मुझे shirt अच्छा लगता है तो हर साल when I go to him or every 3 months I go to him, I'll get designs that the person like. If somebody is making great jackets like Columbia, then the customer needs to identify कि, every time I need a jacket, when I go to Columbia, I'll get something which is what I want, right? Which is not there in the market. So I think as a company, if you are able to do that year on year, which comes through process, I think that's the key.
That's the key. So to sum this up, the time's up, but I'll just sum this up. You can create niche products to have that niche market share. Customized products. Customization is something that we have been speaking since morning. Personalization is also that we spoke about. Avoid stock pile up. So for the retailer, this is the biggest thing that ensure, and that's where the supply chain part came, that will have to ensure that your SCM is extremely strong. Avoid stock pile up. Positioning. But I think there is a lot of room for improvement for many of the brands, startups, etc. They start with the positioning, but somehow they lose that in between. I think if you ensure that your positioning remains the same, you have already got the customer mind share. Unit economics is good, and nobody should sell on loss. And definitely, all the models are good as far as your unit economics is good. Otherwise, you are there to fail for sure. One thing that came up very clearly is stick to your vision and mission, because we spoke about the environment and all the other as areas in the previous track, but it's ultimately the vision and the mission of the retailer or the company that he has to stick to it and ensure that he follows that. Thus create the CVP, that is the customer value proposition. And the way our panelists spoke, I think you'll have to relook at your customer value proposition at regular intervals. It can be a couple of months, a year or a two, or maybe half a decade. But it's a continuously improving process that has to be there, that your CVP has to match with what the market dynamics are currently. Again, two of our esteemed panelists spoke about simplifying processes. And this is where the whole, keep it simple, simplify the processes is where you are going to achieve the economies of scales, and definitely the efficiencies will come in. Listen to the customer and the customer needs. So I think it boils down to a customer. We started with the customer. It is boiling down to the customer. Ultimately, 2024, if we listen to our customer, rest all the things should and will fall in place. With this, I thank my esteemed panelists for sharing their insights today. And thank you very much for being a wonderful audience. Any questions for this? We can have 1 or 2 questions if you have any questions. Yeah. Can we pass the mic?
This is Sabyasachi. My question is for Mr. Raghav. Mr. Raghav, coming from technology background, I would like to thank you for highlighting the analytics and business intelligence in retail segment. I think no one is talking about that nowadays. My question to you is, having said that in managing nearly 100 stores, how do you manage such large volume of inventory, and what's your plan for supply chain?
Thank you for the question. And so again, inventory management is a big subject, right? We cater to about 200 departments or categories. So, we have set minimum base quantities or set quantity capable, quantity has been fixed that, this much quantity is to be there for a particular store or MC wise. So again, there's an efficient supply chain that's there. We have a put-to-light system in our warehouse where we, replenish every store pretty much every day. And all the departments are touched more or less every once in 2 days. And again, every store we make it a point to touch them over 3 to 4 days. And again, just the whole concept is to provide the inventory just in time. And again, with the demand forecasting, you can constantly, keep replenishing the stock. And it's a whole big science again, but the whole supply chain we follow is put to light, although there are newer technologies like ASRS and a lot of them are upcoming. So we do look forward to maybe digitizing it further. And but yeah, the whole concept is to replenish it following with the ARS.
Thanks.
Thank you. Any other question?